check! Firmino!
A wonderful Arsenal through ball.
And that is an equaliser for Arsenal. Firmino! Glorious goal!
Arsenal take a corner.
Ramsey with width! It's in! It's 2-2! It's Olivier Giroud! And Giroud! Arsenal lead for the first time on the night! Henderson, Benteke, 3-3! That is a proper football match. Fabulous drama from beginning to end.
While that drama unfolded on Merseyside, Leicester beat Tottenham 1-0 at White Hart Lane to go level on points at the top with Arsenal. Spurs were 7 points further back. Wayne Rooney's first goal at Anfield since 2005 gave Manchester United all 3 points against Liverpool to keep them in touch with the top four. By now, Liverpool were anxious to pick up a first win of 2016. Their difficult month continued with a trip to Norwich. The Canaries found themselves 3-1 ahead, but Klopp's men weren't in the mood to fade away.
In by Klein for Henderson! 3-2! Here's Lallana. Here's Firmino. It's 3-3. It's quite a game. Martin's back pass, Milner's all alone, Milner against Run, James Milner, 4-3 Liverpool! Set back for Bassett! 4-4! Chan, Benteke, Colker, and Colker again! And Lallana! 5-4! It's crazy! It is insane! And so is he! The most remarkable culmination to one of the most remarkable Premier League games!
19-year-old Dele Alli scored one of the goals of the season as Spurs beat Crystal Palace 3-1 at Selhurst Park to keep them 5 points off the summit. Charlie Austin, a January signing from Queen's Park Rangers, came off the bench to earn Southampton a 1-0 win at Old Trafford. The pressure back on Louis van Gaal, who was heavily booed at full time. Former Udinese boss Francesco Guidolin was named as Swansea's new head coach to work alongside Alan Curtis. He was on the touchline for the first time to see his new team win impressively against Everton at Goodison Park. Arsenal ended January by hosting Chelsea at the Emirates Stadium. The Gunners had failed to beat them in any of their last 8 league meetings, and familiar failings resurfaced after Per Mertesacker's red card early in the first half.
Costa's surrounded by 3 Arsenal defenders.
Costa scores! Chelsea have done a job on Arsenal again. By hook or by crook, they find a way.
So Leicester, to everyone's surprise, were 3 points clear at the top, with Manchester City, Arsenal and Spurs breathing down their neck. Manchester United were still trying to play catch-up. No change in the bottom 3, with Newcastle, Sunderland and Villa by now in serious trouble. Swansea, under Francesco Guidolin, were inching towards safety.
February 2016. Nothing is finished. Manuel Pellegrini.
Leicester began a crucial month with a visit from Liverpool. And Jamie Vardy scored a goal of the season contender as the Foxes ran out 2-0 winners. Next up, Manchester City, who'd announced that Manuel Pellegrini would be replaced by Pep Guardiola in the summer. This was a fixture that, in the eyes of many, might answer the big question: could Leicester City really win the Premier League?
Lifted in beyond Nakazaki and squeezed home! Robert Huth has scored for Leicester City inside 2.5 minutes! Here's Conte. Rolled through towards Mahrez, who's got clear of Otamendi. Riyad Mahrez! 2-0 Leicester!
A lofted cross into City's box.
Boots with the take, Boots with the header, it's free! Sensational! Why shouldn't they be champions?
An amazing 3-1 victory that meant Leicester were now 6 points clear of Manchester City. In that race for the title, Sunday the 14th of February was a pivotal date. With Manchester City and Tottenham set to do battle later in the afternoon, Arsenal and Leicester kicked off proceedings at the Emirates Stadium. The Foxes took the lead in the first half through a Jamie Vardy penalty. But a second yellow card for Danny Simpson after the break altered the course of the game.
It's for Berry. Aimed in at Giroud. Walcott! 1-1! Massive Gunners goal! Ozil clips it in. Well back! There's your fairy tale! You could weep for Leicester. You could weep for them. Spurs and City, it's over to you.
So the focus switches from North London to East Manchester.
After a goalless first half, Spurs were awarded a penalty following Raheem Sterling's handball, and Harry Kane gave the London club a lead to defend.
Clichy, and it was Iheanacho, right on cue. In for Eriksen, and Eriksen has snaffled one for Tottenham. It's a glorious day for the Glory club from North London.
So at the end of a breathless day, a fifth straight win for Spurs meant they sat alongside Arsenal, just 2 points behind Leicester City at the top.
Old Trafford.
For the Gunners, that gap had opened to 5 by the time they went to Old Trafford, where opponents Manchester United were pinning their hopes on an 18-year-old. A player who was virtually unknown before his 2 goals in the Europa League days earlier.
Marcus Rashford.
Barella, first time. And it came for Marcus Rashford. And the fairy tale has a second chapter. By Lingard, it's again. 2 in 3 minutes for the new darling of Old Trafford.
United 3-2 winners in the end, and Arsenal's championship challenge in jeopardy.
A severe blow to the Gunners' title hopes. Are his players made of the right stuff?
Leicester led Tottenham by 2 points at the top, with Arsenal and Manchester City struggling to keep up. Manchester United still had faint hopes of a top 4 finish. Aston Villa were looking resigned to relegation, but just 1 point separated Norwich, Newcastle and Sunderland. Bournemouth and Swansea still looking over their shoulders.
March 2016. Hopefully, we can make the fans proud again. Rafael Benitez.
Another round of midweek matches meant a fast start to March. With the other title challengers not in action until Wednesday, Leicester could only manage a 2-2 draw at home to West Brom on the Tuesday. Spurs missed the chance to go top on Wednesday, losing 1-0 at West Ham. Michail Antonio, their match winner. That same night, Arsenal lost as well. Ashley Williams' winner meant back-to-back defeats for the Gunners, whose season was in danger of imploding. On top of that, Manchester City were beaten 3-0 by Liverpool at Anfield. Serious setbacks for all 3 of the chasing pack. Leicester's draw with West Brom now looked like a point gained rather than 2 lost. A third defeat in a row for Newcastle, this time at home to Bournemouth, meant the end for head coach Steve McLaren. He left with the club 19th in the table after just 6 wins all season. With Leicester playing later that day, Tottenham had another chance to go top of the table, temporarily at least, in what had been billed as the biggest North London derby in years. Arsenal took the lead in the first half through Aaron Ramsey. But after Francis Coquelin was sent off, the 11 men of Spurs fought back.
Eriksen's take Lamela. It's in from Alderweireld. Spurs are rolling again. What a massive opportunity for Tottenham this is. And here is Harry Kane for Tottenham. Oh, what a goal! A classic derby goal from Harry Kane. Behrens played it in. Sanchez, 2-2. They're not done yet, Arsenal.
A wonderfully entertaining match, but ultimately a missed opportunity for Tottenham in their pursuit of Leicester, who won 1-0 at Watford later that evening to go 5 points clear at the top, courtesy of Riyad Mahrez's superb second-half winner. The former Liverpool and Real Madrid manager Rafael Benitez was the surprise replacement for Steve McLaren at Newcastle. But his first game ended with a defeat at Leicester. Shinji Okasaki's acrobatic winner sealing the points. Remy Gard was dismissed by Aston Villa after a 1-0 loss at Swansea. Having won just 2 of his 20 games in charge, a 6th straight defeat was the final straw. Alexander Mitrovic rescued a point late on for Newcastle against Sunderland. A draw far from ideal for both, but it did at least end the Toons' long losing streak against their bitter rivals. Later that afternoon, it was Manchester's turn to scrap for local pride. A win for United would leave them just 1 behind City, who'd taken only 4 of the last 15 available.
Marcus Rashford, he's in here, Rashford! He scored! The fairy tale has a further chapter. The Blues are left red-faced. Derby Day belongs to Manchester United, and more specifically to the 18-year-old Marcus Rashford.
The table at the end of March.
That result meant Manchester United were now level with West Ham and just 1 point behind City. Leicester 5 points clear of Spurs with just 7 to play. At the bottom, it looked like being 2 from Norwich, Sunderland and Newcastle to go down with doomed Aston Villa. 5th at the turn of the year, Crystal Palace had slumped to 16th.
April 2016. We are there, waiting and fighting. Mauricio Pochettino.
Spurs began April with a trip to Anfield. Philippe Coutinho had given Liverpool the lead, but Harry Kane's superb equaliser ensured the match finished 1-1. That allowed Leicester to go 7 points clear the next day, when Wes Morgan's header was enough to beat Southampton 1-0. Norwich overcame Newcastle 3-2 at Carrow Road with a stunning 93rd minute winner from Martin Olsen. Andy Carroll scored a hat-trick as West Ham came from 2-0 down to draw 3-3 with Arsenal at the Bowling Ground. Arsene Wenger's team now all but out of the title race and having to focus on remaining in the top 4.
Carroll celebrating, and then Bilic and Wenger shaking hands.
Leicester's next stop was Sunderland, who were just as desperate for all 3 points, for very different reasons.
Early ball from Drinkwater. Vardy's in here. And scores! 1-0 Leicester again! And here goes Vardy. He's on his way. Manoni has come. Jamie Vardy! Leicester! It's got to happen! Who's catching him now? Reach out for paradise!
Later that afternoon, Tottenham beat Manchester United 3-0 at White Hart Lane to remain 7 points behind with 5 games to play. Manchester United's next match saw relegation confirmed for Aston Villa, who lost 1-0, the decisive setback in a truly abysmal campaign for the Midlands club. But Sunderland was still fighting, beating Norwich 3-0 at Carrow Road in a massive 6-pointer. The result meant Sam Allardyce's men were now just 1 point behind the Canaries and with a game in hand. With just 5 games to go, Leicester City played host to West Ham. The Foxes took the lead through Jamie Vardy, but his afternoon turned sour later, sent off for simulation. And when the Hammers were awarded a penalty of their own, converted by Andy Carroll, Leicester faced a true test of their mettle.
That was Simpson. Cresswell! Forward!
Hammers lead 2-1.
Schlucht. He goes looking for something. Referee gives a penalty. It falls to Leo Ulloa. It's a point. And arguably, that is 1 point closer to the Premier League title.
Tottenham made light work of Stoke City the next night as they continued their pursuit of Leicester. 2 goals each for Harry Kane and Dele Alli in an outstanding 4-0 away win. Liverpool also put 4 past 10-man Everton at Anfield. Roberto Martinez, a man now under considerable pressure following a desperately disappointing league campaign. Only 4 games left, and Leicester were almost there. Next up, Swansea City at the King Power Stadium.
Swansea squander possession deep in their own half.
Oh, it's a giveaway to Morris. And Morris scores! Leicester lift off again!
A Leicester free kick is fired into the box.
By Drinkwater, and in! Leo Ulloa has his moment! Leicester have comfort! Michael lashes it away again and Schlupp's on his way. And he's quick, and he's fast, and he has an eye for goal. It's Jeffrey Schlupp. It's still him. It's Ulloa. It's free, and Leicester are flying away. He's got Morris through the middle. He wants to take on Montero. He's a clever footballer. Damari Gray, Andy King, Gray, and lasted by Albrighton. Leicester's momentum is unstoppable. They're just fearless. They are fearless, and they're so nearly there. If Spurs slip tomorrow, Leicester will play for the title at Old Trafford next Sunday.
So on the Monday night, Tottenham faced West Brom, 8 points behind the leaders at the start of play. Realistically, only a win would suffice for Mauricio Pochettino's young squad.
By Eriksson. It's ended up in the back of the net. They have made the breakthrough. West Brom fans growing in confidence here that their team might come up with a sensational equaliser. And they have done. 1-1. A real setback for Tottenham. Pochettino hangs his head. It's finished. And maybe finished in the title race for Tottenham Hotspur. But the expressions here suggest that they know that the game is up.
At the other end of the table, a 94th minute Jermaine Defoe penalty salvaged what could prove to be a monumental point for Sunderland in a 1-1 draw at Stoke. Newcastle moved out of the relegation zone with a 1-0 win over Crystal Palace. Andros Townsend's stunning free kick gave them the lead, and Carl Darlow preserved it by saving Yohan Cabai's penalty. Sunday the 1st of May, and Leicester City were hoping to complete the impossible dream at the Theatre of Dreams, Old Trafford. The whole world tuned in to see whether Claudio Ranieri's unheralded squad could achieve one of the greatest feats in sporting history.
Leicester have flown in the face of all previously recognised wisdom this season. They've been doubted throughout. They've answered every awkward question thrown in their direction. And now every team's fantasy is almost a reality. Lingard. Outside him, Valencia. Rashford just beyond him, there's Martial! Immediate encouragement from the manager and the team who've fallen behind.
Morgan dives towards a free kick.
There's a lot of wrestling going on, and Morgan nipped in! The captain, Wes Morgan, runs to the Leicester fans.
Leicester only managed to move 1 point closer to their target, but they would still be crowned champions if Spurs failed to win at Chelsea on Monday night. That promised to be gripping viewing for the Leicester players, who gathered around the TV at Jamie Vardy's house to make sure they didn't miss any of the drama from Stamford Bridge.
Over to you, Tottenham. The potential defining moment, take 2. They cannot bear this place, But to remain in the title race, Spurs must do what they've never done before and win a Premier League game at the Bridge. Eriksen, Lamela, Kane, scores! And Tottenham are alive! They're still alive! Harry Kane at the Bridge! On by Kane, Eriksen, Son's ahead of him, and onside, Son scores! 2-0 Tottenham! They've come to the Bridge with a mountain to climb! They have a foothold on that mountain! Williams corner beyond Terry for Cahill! Lashes Chelsea back into it! No longer sitting comfortably, Pochettino. Chelsea playing with a desperation which would hint, if you didn't know otherwise, that they were chasing the title. Costa, away from Alderweireld, Diego Costa, Eden Hazard! Glorious goal! Leicester's goal!
With their dreams in tatters, the Tottenham players began to lose their heads. After such a fantastic season, a bitter conclusion to their part in this fairy tale story.
Leicester City are the champions of England, and the world is left to wonder, wide-eyed, thrilled, bemused. How on earth did that happen? Leicester crowned champions in their absence by their predecessors on a night of perfect succession. Leicester have gone and won it.
So in the end, they clinched it with 2 games to spare. Leicester City having narrowly escaped relegation a year earlier, the 2015-16 Barclays Premier League champions. Newcastle were out of the bottom 3, but Sunderland and Norwich both had a game in hand. Aston Villa's relegation confirmed after 28 consecutive years in England's top flight.
May 2016. Keep dreaming. Why wake up? Claudio Ranieri.
Saturday, May the 7th, saw Leicester's official coronation in front of their adoring fans.
Ranieri applauds the fans.
In 2016, Leicester City are the champions of England. A Premier League tale without compare. It is beyond crazy. Truly, it is beautiful. They only went and did it. Kingston, they're still dreaming. Sport is intended to uplift, genuinely. It is uplifted. The most extraordinary champions England has ever known.
Rooney running onto a long pass and setting up a goal against Norwich.
In the battle to avoid relegation, Norwich suffered a huge blow as they lost 1-0 at home to Manchester United. Newcastle could only manage a goalless draw at Aston Villa, leaving Rafa Benitez's side in desperate need of a Sunderland slip-up. That didn't materialise. Instead, Jermaine Defoe scored the winner in a 3-2 victory over Chelsea. Survival now very much in their own hands. West Ham won a thrilling encounter with Manchester United in the last ever game at the 112-year-old Boleyn Ground. 3-2 the final score there.
Fireworks lighting up the sky.
And with their game in hand, Sunderland secured Premier League safety with a 3-0 win against Everton, sending Norwich and Newcastle down in the process.
Cashry almost scored direct. Now they've got their goal, and Sunderland are surely safe.
That result cost Roberto Martinez his job. Everton confirmed his sacking the next day. But for Sunderland, this was a night to celebrate.
Big Sam is the man.
The champions received the customary guard of honour at the home of the former champions ahead of the final round of fixtures. On Claudio Ranieri's return to his former club, the Foxes drew 1-1 thanks to Danny Drinkwater's goal. Needing just a point to secure second place, Tottenham somehow managed to lose 5-1 at relegated Newcastle, who played almost half an hour with 10 men. And that was made worse by Arsenal's 4-0 demolition of Aston Villa, which meant they finished above Spurs for the 21st year running. Manchester City secured the point they needed with a 1-1 draw at Swansea. Manuel Pellegrini signing off on a high before handing over the reins to Pep Guardiola in the summer. So Aston Villa, Norwich and Newcastle drop out of the Premier League. Sam Allardyce working miracles at Sunderland. Watford and Bournemouth will be back for another year. Manchester United missed out on a top 4 finish and winning the FA Cup failed to save Louis van Gaal. West Ham qualified for the Europa League, but the season belonged to the magicians from the Midlands.
As improbable stories go, this takes some beating. Why shouldn't they be champions? Reach out for paradise! Now you've got to believe it. Leicester have gone and won it.